Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Dan from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel, and today I am here to lay the SmackDown on all things Friday Night SmackDown. So, if you have been cocooned somewhere in the world with no access to any kind of social media, you would have seen that recently WWE had a string of shocking releases. Myself and Scott sat down and we did a video as soon as we possibly could, as soon as this came out. But on the subject of that actually caused a little bit of an issue for SmackDown, because SmackDown are now left with only 7 women. 2 of those women went one-on-one on SmackDown in the form of Carmella and Liv Morgan. So Carmella is now branding herself as the most beautiful woman in WWE. She obviously faced Liv Morgan, whose tag team partner Ruby Riott sadly was one of those that was cut in the recent releases. So yeah, I mean, Carmella obviously winning there with the Code of Silence. Also in the women's division. So there's not really much. So I'm just going to group all the women's stuff together. We knew that Bianca Belair and Bayley, Bianca was going to lay out a challenge to Bayley, and that challenge was for a match at Hell in a Cell. So we still don't know, obviously, if any matches are going to be inside the cell. There's nothing officially been announced. But yeah, so Bianca issuing the challenge to Bayley. Bayley was not at the arena. She was via satellite. She obviously did her thing where she keeps laughing all the time. And then obviously took over all of the screens in the Thunderdome. It was actually a pretty cool visual. And yeah, Bayley obviously taking that over and accepting Bianca's challenge for a match at Hell in a Cell, which will take place in 2 weeks' time. That is the very last WWE pay-per-view that will take place from the Thunderdome as well. So it is a farewell to the Thunderdome inside Hell in a Cell. But yeah, talking of women's division matches, the other women's match at Hell in a Cell we know will be Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. That's over obviously on the Raw brand, on the Raw side of things as well. So what else happened on SmackDown? Well, we know that there was an Intercontinental Championship match set up for for Apollo Crews and Kevin Owens. Now, we knew beforehand that Commander Aziz was going to be banned from ringside for this match. And so how do they get around it? Well, quite simple. They have Commander Aziz absolutely annihilate Kevin Owens backstage before the match even begun, giving Apollo the big advantage. In the match, Apollo essentially did just batter Kevin Owens. Owens did get into actually good offense. It was a case of, does it go back? It's like a backwards and forwards kind of thing. You didn't know who was going to win the match, but it did end up with Apollo winning it with a Death Valley driver onto the apron of the ring, the most hardest part of the ring, before rolling Kevin Owens into the ring and getting the 1, 2, 3, and still your Intercontinental Champion is Apollo Crews. I probably just said Big E then, but if I did, then yeah, I don't know. My head's all over the place. The thing is, right, 1 second. Sorry about that. So the one thing is, obviously, I'm talking about Big E quite a bit because Big E, obviously, former Intercontinental Champion. And the last time that we saw stuff for the Intercontinental Championship, we saw Big E, after the match, get attacked by Aleister Black, or Aleister Black cost Big E the Intercontinental title. Aleister Black, obviously, another one of those names that was sadly released on Wednesday. That's it. But yeah, it would have been, I think, Tuesday over in the States. But yeah. yeah, so obviously Apollo won that match with the Death Valley Driver on the apron, rolled Kevin Owens into the ring, pinned him 1, 2, 3. And then after the match, Sami Zayn came running down to the ring, hit Kevin Owens with a haluva kick in the corner, and essentially was just shouting at him, saying to him, "Oh, it wasn't me that got you, it was karma that got you." So what are we going to see next with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn? Well, I, for one, would love to see Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn inside Hell in a Cell. It'd be one of those matches, I feel, that would need no production whatsoever. You just literally say to them, right, okay, you've got whatever it is, 12, 15 minutes, just go into the cage, just do whatever it is you guys do. Just leave them to their own devices, let them do the match, and it will be a low-key banger of a match. It would obviously be one of those contenders for match of the night, if it goes ahead. But it also begs a question, what is going on in the Intercontinental title picture now? Because, you know, obviously we've got Apollo Crews there. We've got Big E is still, I guess, floating around. There's obviously Owens and Zayn, but they look like they're going off to do their own thing. There's really a lack of challengers now. The roster is getting so thin over on SmackDown. You're thinking, there's apparently Bruce Pritchard and I believe it's Kevin Dunn, I think, are going down to NXT on Tuesday to try and scout some talent. Well, you need to bring somebody over to someone over to SmackDown, because Big E is Apollo is really struggling for challenges at the moment, guys. But yeah, so so as I say, I spoke a bit about thinking that possibly they will have the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens match in the Cell possibly. But another match we could well see in the Cell from the Raw brand is Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. Obviously, as I've already mentioned, we don't know what is going on with regards to matches being in the Cell at the moment. We've got a comment here. There's legit only 5 wrestlers on SmackDown is crazy. Yeah, I think it's a bit more than 5. I think there's probably about 20 odd. But I think I worked it out the other day with the men's stuff. There's actually, I think every single member of the roster is pretty much embroiled in some kind of feud, because obviously you've got the Nakamura and Corbin thing fighting over a crown. You've got the Street Profits. So it was obviously on this show backstage, Apollo, for goodness sake, I keep saying Apollo, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, the Street Profits, there we go, and the Alpha Academy. They were having a few little words backstage, a few attacks from the Alpha Academy boys. So obviously they're now embroiled in a feud. That's going to apparently come to a head next week, when we are going to see the 2 teams that face off. Yeah, as I say, SmackDown need talent. Need talent. But the talent that SmackDown does have is the important one. The all-important one. And that is your tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and his special counsel, Paul Heyman. So, yeah, Roman and Heyman came out to open SmackDown, actually. And Roman essentially said to the Usos, well, you guys kind of got yourself into this match, so you need to make sure that you are coming out of it with the tag team titles. He said, I want these belts as part of the family, sort of thing. He kind of did give his blessing, seemingly, but he said, if you're going to do this, you need to make sure that you come out of it as champions. So, yeah, so strangely, this match started the show, and then you're thinking, is there going to be a bit more to it? In the end, there was a lot more to it. So I'll get to it as we go along, kind of thing. But obviously, Roman did say to the Usos that, they get the blessing, bring me those belts. And ironically, it's the first time that the Usos have ever been in a match with Rey Mysterio, which is really surprising considering how long both sets of guys have been there. The first time, I guess, Rey's usually been in singles feuds. Obviously, the Usos predominantly were in tag team feuds. But yeah, I mean, there was a really nice spot in this match, actually, where Rey did his usual baseball slide out of the ring. And Jey Uso, it was, caught him in Samoan drop. Samoan dropped him onto the announce table. But yeah, I mean, so that was quite good. The match actually ended in controversial fashion, though, when Jimmy Uso went to hit the big splash, and Dominic rolled him up. Referee counted 3, but as you can see from the image, Jimmy Uso's shoulder was off the mat. It was very clearly off the mat at the referee's 2 count. The referee, obviously on the other side of it, did not see the shoulder up. And yeah, the Usos were rightfully super annoyed at the referee. So what was going to happen from then? Well, we find out a little bit later on in the night. So Roman Reigns gets Paul Heyman to call the Usos into his dressing room. When they arrive, Roman says to him, look, you're lucky there's still time left in the show to make it right. You need to go and speak to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville right now and sort this out, basically. Sorry. Then the Usos go to Deville and Pearce. Deville and Pearce then say to him, look, we'll review the footage. We'll have a look and we'll see what on earth is going on. And so they eventually did look at the footage and the images, and they came up with the fact that obviously there was a mistake made, and they would let them know what would happen later in the night. So the Mysterios are leaving the arena, strangely still in their gear. Now, I know people get annoyed when people are in the ring cutting promos in their gear, but if you've just had your match, everything's finished for the match, you think you're going backstage, you're going to have a shower, you're going to get changed, you're going to leave. So the Mysterios went to leave the arena in their gear still when they are met by Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, who say to them, look, it's clear the referee's made a mistake, so we are going to have a rematch later in the night. So Rey didn't really seem too keen on that, but Dominic was like, yeah, we'll take him on again. We'll do it. So we did, in the main event of the evening, we did get the Usos taking on the Mysterios. This time, senior referee Charles Robinson took charge of the match. And yeah, so seemingly the Mysterios were about to win the match. Dominic is on the top rope, about to do his dad Eddie Guerrero's frog splash, when who should come in but Roman Reigns hits Dominic with a huge Superman punch, then nails his old man with a spear, and just goes about absolutely annihilating both Rey and Dominic on the outside. He was literally whacking them with steps. He was throwing them into barricades. Roman was a man possessed here. I mean, he kept screaming at the Usos, look what you're making me do. I have to clean up your mess. You guys were going to lose again. Twice in one night. And it's like, you're going to be letting us down. And so Roman essentially made them watch on while he was beating up the Mysterios. So obviously threw Rey in over the barricade, I guess, into what would be the crowd, that the Thunderdome screen area. He then locked in the guillotine on Dominic Mysterio. Obviously made the Usos watch, but it was Jimmy, who was saying to him, "That's enough, man. Like that, you need to kind of let go of this." And so Jimmy then just walked out of the ring, and Jay was looking super conflicted at this point. He didn't know whether to go with Jimmy or whether to stick with Roman. And then Roman just literally turned around, picked Dominic up off the floor, just nailed him with a power bomb. It was just like, what on earth is going on here? Seriously, it's like, damn. I mean, the only thing I can think is that they're leading to Roman and Ray at Hell in a Cell potentially. Let's have a quick look here. So, loving this vicious side of Reigns and how the Usos act. Yeah, it's this vicious side to Roman is very good. It seems like he's very protective over his family, and I think the whole thing with the Mysterios is it's playing into that family dynamic, isn't it? So you've obviously got the Mysterios on one side, the Usos on another. It's like, who's going to get their family in check quickest, essentially. What else have we got here? See if they can do it for one dodgy finish. Why don't they do it for all? It's a tricky cat. Yeah, I mean, you'd think, the referee would just go like that and just do a VAR thing. We've seen it before where they've actually been able to look at the screens and stuff and see that they've made a mistake. You'd think, surely you've got that technology now. You can show replays. Just literally get the referee to look at a screen and be like, oh, well, actually, yeah, I messed up. So it's no VAR. Yeah, I guess it'd take too long to make a decision. You have to go to somebody in Stamford, not in Stockley Park. Just someone there with looking at it and being like, wait, hang on, what the heck is that? Yeah, but yeah, I guess we don't know. Let's see what else we've got in the comments. So I'm guessing this is back for the old the thing with the Usos and the Mysterios never facing off. Was Ray leaving in 2014 when Usos was still in face paint? By the time he returned, he was in single stuff. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like ships in the night sort of thing, isn't it? Like they just kind of cross paths, and then talent level's still insane despite the releases. Rollins, Nakamura, Ray, Reigns, Cesaro, Owens, Zayn, Apollo. Yeah, they still have. I mean, the talent they've got is incredible over on SmackDown. It's just, I think you're an injury away, really. You're an injury away from it just being, just flipping everything on its head, really, because, obviously we know from watching wrestling, injuries can just happen at the most innocuous times, Someone could just be in the corner, you could tweak your knee the wrong way, and that's you out for a few months, and in that few months, it's like, what are they going to do? If you've not got the people there to actually, still be performing, then you're in a bit of trouble, really. So, the only way I can see them getting around it is either to do a quick draft, maybe get a few people over from Raw, or to actually call some people up from NXT, but actually do something with them. Obviously, I've already mentioned Apollo is going to be looking for challenges for that Intercontinental title. So why not bring in a few of the guys from NXT and just have a couple of them maybe go up against Apollo for the title? But then again, it's who do you actually get in? I mean, there's talk of obviously Bel-Air coming back up. Bel-Air versus Apollo feud would be incredible over the Intercontinental title, I think. So yeah, going back to the Roman and Ray thing, we've got Roman versus Ray would be off the charts if they do it. Honestly, it needs a crowd though, as Ray is so good at this babyface routine. Yeah, for definite. I mean, the thing is, I can honestly see them just leaving Roman off of Hell in a Cell. Leave it till fans come back. Money in the Bank, you could always have like Roman versus Ray at Money in the Bank. It sounds horrible to say, but it could just be like a little filler feud until SummerSlam. If there is talk of a couple of big names coming back for SummerSlam, then it'd be a good kind of filler feud for Roman in the meantime, building up to that, I guess. What else we've got here? It just needs a couple of fresh faces there. like the show looks and feels the same as it did last year, which is not good for wrestling. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's always good, and it always does feel like it's a fresh injection of talent when these guys and girls come up from NXT kind of thing. But you don't want them to just come up and just be like relegated to just being like, oh, you're just going to be essentially a jobber. You want them to come in and make an impact. I mean, I always remember like Kevin Owens when he first came in. I think he was NXT champion at the time. Came in for the John Cena US Title Open Challenge, and John Cena was just there putting them over left, right, and center. You know, they didn't always win, but you know, they were actually getting put over left, right. You know, just doing so good. What else have we got here? Thing is, look at what Ray did with Lesnar. Could be the same deal with Reigns. Yeah, I think to be fair, Lesnar is one of the big names that they're talking about coming back for SummerSlam potentially, but makes you think if you've got money to pay Brock Lesnar to come back, then you've got money to keep Aleister Black around, you've got money to keep Braun Strowman around, you've got money to keep Ruby Riott around, Santana Garrett, Buddy Murphy, you know, all of those guys that got released. You know, you've got, you know, if you can afford to pay a big name like Lesnar, you can afford to pay 6 other people, you know, but yeah, I guess it is what it is, isn't it? So yeah, let's have a look here. What else have we got here? They didn't even try with people as a problem. Like Chelsea Green went through them, meant to be part. Yeah, see, and this is the thing. It's like one injury. Chelsea Green went from meant to be part of Women's Survivor Series team to injured to never getting called back up and released. Yeah, and it says a lot now. You know, obviously the SmackDown Women's division has 7 women on it. Now, prior to these releases, Santana Garrett was technically a part of the SmackDown roster, never used. Ruby Riott, part of the SmackDown roster, hardly ever used. And obviously, Lana was over on the Raw brand, but, you know, she was in a tag team with Naomi. But yes, SmackDown are crying out for women. And, you know, obviously Bianca being a face champion, it's a bit more tricky. I mean, I could see potentially if Bayley was to win the title, a heel Bayley against like a babyface Io Shirai maybe coming over from SmackDown, from NXT, that would be a great feud. You know, you think of some of the, I mean, we mentioned it, I think it was last week or the week before, that NXT have 25 women on their roster, whereas combined Raw and SmackDown at the time had 23. That's probably down to about 21 now, or 20. Yeah, about down to about 20 women now, whereas NXT 25 women. You know, do you really think they could spare a few? Possibly, quite possibly. I mean, I could see Vince bringing someone like Shotzi Blackheart up, being like, "Oh, you've got green hair, you can just be the next Ruby Riott," and you know, I don't want him to do that. So yeah. What else have we got here? It's mad how there's so many on NXT who. There are already 2 matches on TakeOver. Yeah, so obviously, sorry, you guys would have seen that I do cover the NXT reviews as well every week. So you know obviously what we've been talking a bit about, because we've got Ember Moon will be going against Dakota Kai on this week's episode of NXT. So that's another little bit of a feud that they've got going on there as well, you know. And then obviously Ember will be taking on the champion Raquel Gonzalez at TakeOver. So TakeOver in your house, and you know, I feel as though that's going to be an absolute banger of a match. That one, I think that's quietly got going to be a bit of a contender. I feel for match of the night, that one. Obviously, the other match that they've got in the women's division over there is the, I think it's Mercedes Martinez, and I always get confused whether it's Tian Sha or, no, Xia Li. Tian Sha is a stable. Always confusing that one. But yeah, so I guess that's pretty much about it for SmackDown this week. I mean, it's, you know, I like kind of what they're doing with it, but I just feel as though they need a few more bodies. You know, it's getting a bit repetitive with the same faces every single week. You just want something in there just to freshen it up. But yeah, as I say, that's I guess everything for that. But yeah, don't forget to be checking this out on the Raw review, which will be on Tuesday, where we will discuss the contract signing between Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre ahead of their big Hell in a Cell, their big match at Hell in a Cell. Sorry, not confirmed that it is actually inside the cell at the moment, but yeah, they will be signing their contract. Who's going to go through the table? It always happens. Probably MVP, to be fair. But yeah, who knows? Also, we have from going on from last week, Shayna Baszler will be in Alexa's playground. You know, it's looking like they're going to have some kind of stupid shenanigans with Shayna and Lily. But yeah, I guess who knows where we're going to go from there. And also we have a battle royal, 5 teams to determine the next challengers for AJ Styles and Omos's Raw tag team titles. So we have the Lucha House Party versus the Viking Raiders versus Mace and T-Bar versus the New Day versus RK Bro. Who is going to come out of that one victorious? Love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. If you have got any comments on this, leave them in the comment section down below. Even if you're watching on demand, leave your thoughts in the comments below. We do have one more as well on here. We've got Raw looks absolutely awful, like beyond awful. How do you think I feel? I have to sit and review that show every single week. I have to sit and watch it every single week. But yeah, so if you guys haven't already, don't forget to go and check out the video that me and Scott did on WWE Shocking Releases. That was obviously the releases of Lana, Braun Strowman, Aleister Black, Ruby Riott, Santana Garrett, and Murphy. We will also be, at some point, doing a released Mania 2. So we will be taking the, I think so far, 28 released talents from 2021. And we will essentially be sitting down and compiling a card, essentially, of all the talent that WWE have let go. And essentially showing them, this is the kind of card you guys could have had you just left these people where they were and not had your budget cuts, despite making millions and millions of dollars. But yeah, that is everything for this edition of Lay the SmackDan. Don't forget, guys, like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget you can follow us all at RM Pro Wrestling over on Twitter. You can follow me at Dan_RebNoise. Thank you guys in the comments for your comments. If you've got any other things to add, make sure you add to the comment section down below. For now, I've been Dan. Thank you, guys. We will see you very soon. Bye.